So, hey, welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. Of course, my name is Goldie, and joined with me today is my friend Shane McWaters. Shane McWaters owns an event company here in Colorado, and it is March 26, 2020, and we are doing a off-the-cuff 15-minute of fame podcast about the current status of his event company, how he's choosing to live in these times in the world, and what we can get wrapped up in 15 minutes. So welcome, Shane, to the show. How
Thanks,
you
bud.
doing today, brother?
Good, man. Sun's shining. We're taking it day by day, like everybody is. Just trying to enjoy the blue sky as much as we can, but 6 feet apart from each other. So this is acceptable distance, I guess, between you and me right now.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're a whole city away from me. So I don't think there's a lot of mumbo jumbo that we have to hash over, because I think people are pretty quick to understanding what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
March 26 today, as it is, Colorado itself has been put on lockdown from corner to corner, Durango to Fort Collins. Same rules apply to everybody. So we're all in our homes. We're locked down. And a question to somebody like yourself, even myself, is, okay, we've basically just lost our way of putting money in the bank.
Yeah.
What good human beings are we now? What can we do? You said something before this interview. You says, I want to put food on the table for my family. Okay.
Yep.
How do you do that in these times?
Yeah. Well, we're pretty fortunate where the Sweetheart City racing community they're amazing. I mean, it's a community that existed when we got here. We just kind of we've had this business now for a little over 2 years, and it's been all about community and what can we do. It started, how can we bring the running community together? There was kind of different pockets of people doing different things throughout town in Loveland, and we said, what can we do to kind of bring all those groups together? And so through that, kind of Sweetheart City Racing came to exist. And so now it's how do we keep that community going and keep in front of our community, give them things to do, in this time, like you said, where we're kind of on this lockdown and we can't actually be in the same room together, or go for runs together and go for walks together, unless you're the whole social distancing thing, which it's funny how we create words and phrases in our current state, but that's a new thing that's real. And so it's been crazy. Sarah and I had this idea, we're part of a kind of a global Facebook group, Race Directors Hub, and we've been on there a lot more in the past couple of weeks than we probably have ever.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in our space is trying to pivot and figure out how do we keep, if we have races coming up this spring, how do we keep some version of that alive? And if we don't, then do we cancel? Do we postpone? Things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So we through all of that, without getting too far off in the weeds, we created a totally brand new event that's the virtual run. And so we've got a Strava club, where people can log their miles on Strava. And we've got like 50, I think the count this morning, we were like 56 people that are participating in this thing.
The Golden Tee Tournament of running.
That's it.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're staying connected. You're working your way around the physical nature of, you're doing it on are you like on a stair stepper in a house, stair stepper on a treadmill? Are you just doing it in the hallway? What are you doing?
Yeah, they can do it however they want. Really, the only rules to the game is it has to be on foot, so they can't go. 11.8 miles.
So they could be doing their stairway.
That's it.
Up and down, something like that.
Whatever. They can walk up and down the hallway.
Cool.
800 times.
Hey, if that's what you got to do right now, that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
but
right.
Hey, this is creative. I like this. This means you're finding ways for people to keep the community in the new aspect of what we thought was our born given right. Let's just go outside and play.
Yeah.
And right now we physically shouldn't, and we can't, and maybe shouldn't, or whatever the case may be, we aren't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the thing, we wanted to give them a distance, and they don't have to do that all in one time. They can do it over the course of a week. We've got right now we have it slated that the event's going to end on March 31st. We're probably going to extend that out through the week because we just keep having people sign up. We had 5 people sign up yesterday.
And are you awarding people similar as a race? Like, hey, Johnny ran 100 miles this month up and down the stairs, and here's a free T-shirt or whatever you're
that
doing.
That may be a new category.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So once this whole thing is done, when I say done, I mean the Corona, lockdown thing.
When this passes.
Yep. When people can be within 3 feet of each other again.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually, again, without getting too far off in the weeds, we've got T-shirts and hats and pint glasses and stuff that we've had left over from previous races, and so we're literally just going to have a yard sale out in front of our house. And when everybody's done, when we can all be back together again, they can come pick up whatever piece of swag they want. So if you want a T-shirt from a Sweetheart Classic 2 years ago, have it. If you want a pint glass from a race a year ago, take it. Okay. Whatever you want. Beanies.
You can't really send it to them right now. I guess you could. I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, we could, but it's, again, we kind of want to do like a, welcome out of quarantine thing.
Okay. But this is good. So during quarantine, you have found a way to keep people connected by reaching digitally through to each other, using a Strava, using a Peloton of sort, and gaming the real life. We World. We should start a new video game called We World.
Yep.
And the whole world's playing on video games.
Right.
But they're actually, that's probably a good business to be in right now, is the gaming.
Oh my gosh. That and Zoom.
Right. Yeah. Right. They could be culprit of all of this. Okay. So in the event space right now, and we were talking about this before we pressed record today.
Yeah.
The money situation, right? Like nobody's buying. Nobody's selling. I got a ton of DJ stuff on Facebook Marketplace that 3-4 calls a day. Hey, I want to buy that from you. Can I come see it? Gone. And that's fine. I get it. Like, okay.
Yep.
All right. So money all of a sudden rears its ugly face in it, even though it's still important because it's part of like how we're living on this planet still. It has been like rudely swiped away from us, and we're like, well, crap. I mean, hey, great, they're going to let us go to the grocery store where I can't buy food anymore because I've run out of money. Like all those subscriptions that you have on like digital rollout, like at the first of the month, right? They're not going to stop. They might, but they might not too, right? Because they may say they will, but like they just do it anyway because their systems are in place, right?
Already rolling.
Right. And some corporations can be like, oh, did we charge you? I'm so sorry. Like they'll just forget about it. So you're not going for money right now. What are you going for?
Yeah. I think, that's a big question. And, like I mentioned before, for us, we've got, an email distribution list, over 3,000 people. We got a Facebook following of close to, I think, 12 or 1,300 now. So again, our business is based around community. And for us, even like you said, the money's going to be what it's going to be. I mean, if we make a few bucks over the next, 30 days, who knows? Keeping the lights on in the house and things like that, like those things are just going to happen. And, it's going to be what it's going to be. I think for us, it's how do we keep a community that's, and I've been having this conversation probably like you have all week long. How do we keep our people together? How do we keep this sense of, because, one thing about humans is we're designed to be together. Right. And, money being what it is, everybody's in the same boat. I think those of us that are in certain industries are probably feeling that, our legs getting cut out from under us, maybe a little bit more than others. I was just talking to my best friend down in Texas this morning, and, he's not feeling the financial hit probably like you and I are,
Sure.
Like you said earlier. And our society is such a mixed thing when it comes to the financial stuff, because, so many people have jobs with bigger corporations that they're still, their paycheck hasn't really been affected that much. So I think it's kind of a mixed bag. People are still holding on. They're holding on to it now because who knows if I'm going to have that job tomorrow? Who knows if my paycheck's going to look like what it did yesterday? And so, for us in this time of year, March is usually where our season kind of ramps up for the rest of the year. We basically have races. We have 1 or 2 events, 1 to 2, sometimes 3 events a month from essentially April all the way through February. Right. So, so for us, this thing could not hit at a worse time.
Sorry.
You're right.
Not like it was going to be like, oh, you know what? We're going to do this later. Shane's got a race. It's all good. It's all good.
If it was a month ago, whatever. But it's like, can Corona, can you hang on for another couple months? So we're having to kind of, again, from a branding standpoint, we're having to stay out in front of people and say, we're not, I don't know if this is where we were going with this conversation, but we have not made the decision to cancel races yet. We're trying to postpone because we want to keep that. It's all about the community for us, right? It's all about how do we hold that group together.
You're canceling because of proper decisions with the masses currently.
Yeah, we've had to move one race. We had a race coming up in April that's probably, it's kind of the kickoff to our season. We know we're going to have to move that one out.
But you're recreating digital races at home.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the big question then, because it seems like you've already figured out a way to kind of keep it going when it's not really going, okay?
Yeah.
The big question is this, and we've got about 5 minutes left. You can't come back to racing or throwing races after coronavirus. It's April 17th.
Yeah.
Sweetheart City Races has to close down because there's no way on this planet it can be reinvigorated. Just hypothetical.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Man, that's the $1 million question right now. We've had that because, if we don't, there's a couple of key races for us throughout the year, and fortunately we're not there yet. But to your point, like if we get past July and we don't get to have those events, for all intents and purposes, the business is probably done.
Could be. So what, and I'm just being an advocate of conversation.
Yeah.
What else are you good at? What could we see Shane McWaters from Sweetheart City Racing doing? Is he going to become a baker? Is he going to become a farmer? Is he going to be, what's it going to be?
Well, if I had a voice like yours and a face like yours, I'd go into radio and TV, but I don't. So, although I am getting my no shave coronavirus thing going on. So I'm not with you yet, but I'm.
Maybe there it is. You're going to turn into a barber.
Yeah. Man, that's a loaded question. It's one I've honestly been kind of pondering. I don't know. I mean, we have put so much over the last, arguably 3 years into this thing. It hurts me to think about that, like what it would be.
I couldn't.
And I think there's a lot of people having those thoughts. There's a lot of my friends down here that own bars and restaurants and things like that, and they're looking at it going, man, if we go past 30 days, how do we come back? If we come back, then if we don't, then what's next? And I don't know what that would be for me, quite honestly. It's definitely, it's a good point. It's a good conversation piece because Sarah and my wife and I have been talking about it for a while. It's like, do we go get a job at Amazon and, punch the corporate clock and be good with that? Maybe, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, and that could be for a whole nother 15 minutes, times a lifetime. We've got about 60 seconds left.
Okay.
So let's focus on the positive. Let's focus on what you've done, and let's focus on what you're currently good at, and that is throwing some darn good races in the Northern Colorado region. So, Shane McWaters, you run Sweetheart City Racing. You run marathons to half marathons to 4Ks to 5Ks to kids runs, involving all the things at all the runs. What event would you be excited to get back to when this all is water under the bridge? Knowing the schedule, you said April's out, but maybe one in July. What's the one in July? You're ready. You're ready to bang it out.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking at. We've got two big ones coming. Well, three, but I think one of them's going to end in early May.
Pick one. You got 30 seconds.
Oh, geez. I would have to say our Liberty 5K.
Okay, Liberty 5K, which I've had the joy of being at, and I think it's awesome.
You were OG on that one with us. And so, yeah, that's the one that's it's the biggest race. It's where we see the most competition. It's where we see the biggest fan. It's at the park down here. So families are coming out like crazy, and it's just a good time.
What day is the Liberty 5K?
4th of July.
And where can they sign up for it?
Go to sweetheartcityracing.com.
Okay. So might miss April, might miss May, but if you want to get with Shane and Sweetheart City Racing, say again your .com.
sweetheartcityracing.com.
Okay. July 4th. Let's put our fingers together.
Liberty 5K.
That's the one. All right, Shane, I really appreciate you joining. And I know we could keep this going for days, but man, I wish you the best. And somehow, some way, we're all going to make it through this.
We're going to come out the other side of this thing for sure.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. And we will be talking to you soon.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers.